So it looks like MrBeast got leaked. If you clicked on this video with the intent of MrBeast schlong being on the screen, then you're gonna be sorely disappointed because I'm not talking about that kind of leak. I'm talking about a document being leaked. Now if you guys remember when I covered Dogpack's second video, he actually briefly showed this document. The part that we looked over in one of my last videos was where MrBeast was training his employees to never take no for an answer and basically just harass businesses until they say yes and let them film whatever content they want to, which in my opinion was kind of a shady business practice. But today we're going to be doing a more detailed review of this document, and yeah, from the way that people are talking about this document, it's really making him look like a sociopath, so we'll go ahead and see what absolute devious things this man has in his document. Who knows, it might not even be that bad and people are just exaggerating. We have no idea, but I better not see any comments down below talking about bro is really milking it. If Pegasus can get away with this, I can get away with at least a couple videos, so let's just get right into it. Now obviously I'm not going to be reading the entire document because we would be here for quite a long time, but I am going to review some pretty big sections from the document that are worth noting, and we're going to be starting off with a section that's titled I only want A players. And this part of the document reads, as I type this I realize it may not be the wisest to categorize everyone into 3 buckets, but this is how I believe we should look at everyone a part of the production team. You're either an A player, B player, or C player. There is only room in this company for A players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses, believe in YouTube, see the value of this company, and are the best in the goddamn world at their job. B players are new people that need to be trained into A players, and C players are just average employees. They don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what, we got a little bit of a grammar mistake, but anyway, they don't suck, but they aren't exceptional at what they do. They just exist, do whatever, and get a paycheck. They aren't obsessive. C players are poisonous and should be transitioned to a different company immediately. It's okay, we give everyone severance, they'll be fine. Okay, now let me play devil's advocate just for a minute here. Obviously, the way that MrBeast is wording this section isn't exactly the best, but if you really break it down, this is what most employers are usually looking for. To be honest, the way MrBeast is kind of wording it, it sounds like he just wants narcissistic, obsessive, sociopath people kind of like him on the company, and anyone who's there just to get a paycheck, he sees as poisonous. That's a crazy word to describe people who are just there for the money, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world to want to have a certain type of employee working for your company. People generally want to work with people who are like-minded like them in some ways. And obviously, since MrBeast is just obsessed with YouTube growth and scaling his business as much as he can, it would make sense that he would want to attract workers to his company that are kind of similar to him in that regard. So my opinion, with everything that's been coming out, this is definitely far from the worst thing I've seen. At least you could say, oh, he plays favorites or something like that, but if you really think about it, it's not that deep. So now let's go ahead and move over to another section of this document called Own Your Mistakes. This part of the document reads, I hate excuses and I despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they messed up. Mistakes are okay, genuinely they are, and I expect you to make a lot. That's perfectly fine. Every veteran here has cost me $1 million at one point or another, and you can go ask them yourself if I ever held it over their heads. Quick little comment here, you can definitely tell that MrBeast didn't send this to like an editor or someone to proofread it to ensure that MrBeast doesn't come off as like incredibly egotistical, but I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a 16-year-old typed this. This is crazy. Just this whole document, the wording in it is so unprofessional. Like, could you imagine if you were applying for a job at some company and this was the fucking handbook they gave you? They have to reassure you in the document, yeah, don't worry, people have cost me $1 million mistakes before. Go ahead and ask so-and-so. I don't hold it over their head. Go ahead. Fucking ask them. What are you waiting for? Like, MrBeast really messed up when he decided not to just send this to someone to completely reword it in a more professional way. I can kind of understand the vision, but the wording just makes it so much worse. But the document goes on to say, the reason I'm okay with fuck-ups is because I know that's how you learn. I see it as me investing in you and your brain, hence why I have zero tolerance for C players, and they must go immediately. Those fuck-ups could be done by an A player that will retain the information learned. You guys get what I mean? You can kind of understand his point of view to a certain extent, but it's just the way that he's describing it that comes off as a narcissist. Don't worry, I don't hold mistakes over your head, just ask this person. I mean, I love when you make mistakes, but that's why I have zero tolerance for these fucking C players. Get them out of my company. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next section. Nothing comes before your prios. I assume he means priorities. When you're being assigned tasks, you should have what we call a priority list. If Ali says your priorities are to 1, get a Lamborghini under 200k, 2, get it wrapped in anime characters, and 3, make a custom steering wheel, then nothing on this freaking planet is allowed to come between you and getting these priorities done. If the other team asks for your help and you spend 2 days helping them and fall behind on getting your Lamborghini secured, that's your fault. If the studio is burning down and you stop working to put out the fire and don't get the Lamborghini, that's your fault. Jokes, haha. But seriously, don't let anything come before your priorities. It's like he's trying to word the document in a way that he personally thinks other people would find funny, but from everyone else's point of view, he just comes across as a sociopath. Because I'm looking at this document so far, and really, it kinda just looks like an unfiltered employee handbook. Because you see these in job applications all the time. The employer expects you to put your priorities first, help others later, do what you need to do, own up to your mistakes, learn from them. Maybe it's honestly just because I expected this document to have the absolute worst of the worst, like this guy was secretly running like an Auschwitz camp down at his company, but this really isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, at least so far. So now let's just go on to a section that reads, random things you should know. Do not leave contestants waiting in the sun, ideally waiting in general, for more than 3 hours. Squid Game, it cost us $500,000, and Boys vs. Girls, it got a lot of people out. Ask James to know more. So apparently, according to someone who participated in some of MrBeast's games, he doesn't really follow this rule, and apparently he left a lot of contestants just waiting for days.
Ask James to know more. Well, have I got stories about people you kept out in the sun for days.
But anyway, let's go ahead and keep reading. I'd rather you be honest with each other than be nice to each other. Honestly, this is real as fuck. I can completely respect that. In my opinion, being fake nice doesn't do anything, and you just have to be honest and say what's on your mind and not be afraid or a pushover. That's how you get real people around you, those people that aren't afraid to call you out when you're on some bullshit. So that's a valid part of the document, honestly. I will say though, it is a bit funny that he has this part in his document, like he hasn't sent cease and desist to other YouTubers covering this whole situation, and on top of that, he also botted a bunch of comments and removed a ton of dislikes from his most recent video. I don't know, man, it looks like you kinda gotta follow your own advice at that point, but let's go ahead and read another one. Never do anything that could make us look bad from a PR perspective. Yeah, looks like that one didn't really work out too well. I mean, it's still a sensible thing to want. Obviously, if you run one of the biggest YouTube channels on earth, then doing bad PR shit probably isn't the smartest idea. So it kind of makes sense why he put that. But yeah, that's a lot of the major things that are in this document. I would leave you guys a link to the entire document, but it looks like something happened to it and it isn't really available anymore. I literally had to get all these screenshots from this girl's video. But yeah, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation down in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for watching. Be sure to like, sub, and I'm out of here.